Hello again, internet. Ollie again from Rated R. I was just on the internet earlier, discovered a pretty cool piece of information about a mod of Skyrim. The mod is called MERP, or Middle Earth Role-Playing Project. It looks pretty fucking badass if you ask me. A bunch of English guys, all at college, university, school, work, whatever, in their spare time, have basically got hold of the Skyrim engine, stripped out the entire world, and currently are trying to rebuild the entirety of Middle Earth from scratch using the Skyrim engine. They said basically the current count, the size of Middle Earth is going to be 9 times the map of Skyrim itself, which is massive. If you've played Skyrim, it's huge. Yeah, at this point, where they are with the project is that they've managed to create 90% of Rohan, which is a country in Middle-earth, and they've said that equates to around 10% of the full overworld. The world itself, they've said, is going to be a persistent world that runs on an internal clock, which means that basically there's a start point and the world persists from there, so you can miss out on quest lines if you're not in a particular place, if you're not a certain NPC or quest giver at a certain point. The clock apparently runs from the moment that Gandalf informs Frodo that he has the One Ring in the story. There's a ring bearer quest line where you control Frodo and you go through the story. As you know, a White Council quest line. The White Council are the council of wizards that Gandalf is a part of. Basically what would happen is, at the moment that Gandalf informs Frodo of the One Ring, from there on the game would continue. So you could miss out on major plot points if you're Frodo, and you could really change the way the story happened. It's properly interesting stuff. What's really cool is that the team currently is a team of 40 guys. I'm sure there's girls involved as well, working in their spare time around college, working uni, as I said. But quite interestingly, the whole thing is completely volunteered. There's no budget at all. They're just doing it for the fun of it, really. They're modders. They sound really awesome. However, as of July this year, work on the mod had to be stopped due to a cease and desist letter issued by Warner Brothers, who own the video game rights for the Tolkien franchise. I mean, in first correspondence, Warner Brothers were really interested once they got wind of the mod. From that you can obviously tell it's got a pretty big following on the internet and it's fairly well known. Basically they were just asking what was happening, what kind of game it was, because sometimes mods like this based on intellectual properties do manage to get made, depending if the company that owns the property doesn't have similar sort of things out in the market that it could affect. And it wasn't until MERP themselves stated the size and scope of the project that they issued the C&D. Currently there is a petition to save MERP, the project itself. Currently, as of today, from my looking at the website, there is 21,015 online signatures. I'll put a link below in the description. That's a lot, but it's not enough to really get Warner Brothers interested at all. Actually, quite interestingly, as a point of protest for supporters of this mod, a lot of people who play the popular MMO Lord of the Rings Online, which was originally created by a company called Turbine Studios, which has since been acquired by Warner Brothers themselves, have actually stopped subscribing to Lord of the Rings Online and are not going to be playing it anymore. Pretty interesting in that, because Warner Brothers have caused the cease and desist, they've caused themselves a problem because their Lord of the Rings property, which is an RPG, has now suffered because of their action. MERP themselves actually did ask if they could continue work on the project and release it to just people who, the guys who were involved with the project, but they even said legally that they won't be able to continue production as well, which means that they can't even carry on with clearly something they're quite passionate about, because why would anyone undertake a process like a project this large if you're not going to be passionate about it? It's going to take some do. I mean, it kind of raises a good question about the nature of copyright law, if you ask me. I mean, how can you buy an intellectual property? You can literally throw enough money at something, you can buy an idea. It seems wrong. Again, this kind of flies in the face of what Tolkien, one of Tolkien's greatest wishes was that he wanted people to be inspired by the books that he wrote and expand the universe, do different things with it. I mean, we obviously saw that Peter Jackson did the movies, and his son Christopher Tolkien has he's been releasing extra works that Tolkien made based in Middle Earth. It doesn't quite resonate with his wishes, and it's kind of wrong. I mean, there is actually, in copyright law, sort of for literary rights, 70 years after the author's death, the rights enter the public domain, which would mean that Warner Bros. Could no longer stop a mod like this being made. However, if they wanted to release this mod, they would have to wait 40-ish years. No, it's a shame because there are some pictures, and I'll definitely throw some up in this, and so you guys can just look at the end, and I'll pop links up to whatever's up on the internet, and it looks really fascinating, and it's quite a good story. Big guys stepping on the little guys and shit, but yeah, it would be a shame if this got swept under the carpet. There's a little thing on their website actually where it says, in the words of Samwise Gamgee, there's good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. I think that's pretty apt. You know, big companies are obsessed with the bottom line. You know, they just want to make money. And stepping on the little guy is no real. It happens constantly. But yeah, in the case of this, I don't know. I think, as far as copyright law goes, I mean, it should be changed for things like this. I mean, if we had to consider video games art, which a lot of people do, then why should it be stopped? I mean, where does it stop anyway? Anytime someone reads The Lord of the Rings and decides that they want to draw a picture of Gandalf, is Warner Bros. Going to stop them doing that? I mean, a lot of people have already asked the developers at MERP if they could just sort of reskin the mod, sort of give a wink and a nod. We all know what it is, but you'll just change the names and stuff. And really, as cool as that would be, why don't they just make something new and original? And really, the license like Lord of the Rings deserves something faithful, deserves something cool. The scope of the thing is massive and it's really interesting. You need a fucking awesome computer to try and run it. I really hope they managed to get it out there. I hope that, or at the very least, there are plenty of games where modders have come along and they've started a project. I mean, you look at Halo is a good example. Someone tried at one point to change Command and Conquer, reskin it with Halo. They were sent a cease and desist by Bungie, and then Bungie released Halo Wars, a top-down real-time strategy game based in the Halo universe. So it could just give Warner Bros. A kick up the arse to give us a decent Lord of the Rings game. The website that I've linked below, so put your online signature on. Try and get the petition somewhere. You never know what it will lead to. You know, the guys at MERP have said themselves, there's plenty of interviews with them online if you want to check that out. I'll probably link you to one. They said themselves that if they can kick Warner Bros. Up the arse and get them to release a really great RPG and an open world thing, like what they're trying to do, and they kind of feel like their work is done as well. But that's it, really. This has been Ollie at Rated R once again. There's links to what music is running under this video again. I think it's going to be me again. I might put my brother's joke band in. It's good for a laugh. I'll link his SoundCloud. Like, comment, subscribe, all those lovely things. Yeah.